It only happened once, just get over it, she said when I caught her with another man. Besides, he satisfies me way more, she added with that mocking smile. I listened in silence, and the next day I prepared an unexpected surprise she wouldn't forget for a long time. Hey folks, before we jump into the video, please consider subscribing and giving a thumbs up if you're excited for more stories like this. Thank you. Let's dive in. Let me set the scene for you guys. We've been together for 4 years, met during college and decided to move in together about 2 years ago. Until that Thursday night, I was convinced our relationship was rock solid. We talked about getting married, starting a family, making future plans together. I'm 28, she just turned 27 a few weeks back. That Thursday evening, I finished work earlier than usual. Our supervisor let us leave around 3 p.m. because we just closed a deal with a major client and he wanted us to celebrate. I thought I'd surprise her by picking up sushi on the way home, her absolute favorite. Oh, the irony. I let myself in quietly with my key, and the moment I stepped through the door, I could hear those unmistakable sounds coming from our bedroom. I froze for a few seconds, feeling the takeout bag getting heavier in my hands. My first instinct was to just leave, pretend I never came home early. But something made me keep going. When I opened the bedroom door, there she was with some guy I'd never seen before. They didn't even notice me at first. I had to clear my throat to get their attention, and both of them jumped. What exactly is going on here? I asked, maintaining a calm that surprised even me. She quickly covered herself, but her face showed zero remorse, just annoyance at being interrupted. Please, you were supposed to be at work, she snapped back at me, like I was the one in the wrong. The stranger started frantically gathering his clothes, mumbling something about not knowing she had a boyfriend, but honestly I didn't care about him. My focus was entirely on her. How long has this been going on? I asked. Just once, she said, rolling her eyes like I was being dramatic. You're always working late anyway. What did you expect me to do? You need to leave, I told the guy, who bolted out of there still buttoning his shirt. When we were alone, she tried a different approach. Look, I made a mistake, okay? It didn't mean anything. When I stayed silent, she got defensive. What now? You're just gonna stand there acting all morally superior? It's not like you're perfect either. I've never cheated on you, I said quietly. That's when I saw something shift in her eyes. If she'd shown even a hint of genuine remorse, maybe things would have ended differently. Instead, she smiled. Well, for your information, he satisfies me way more than you do. I just nodded, turned around and walked out. I grabbed my laptop, wallet, and car keys. As I headed for the door, she followed me. You're just leaving? Aren't you going to fight about this? I didn't say a word, just left and drove to my buddy's place. I turned off my phone and spent the whole night staring at the ceiling, feeling completely numb. The next morning, I woke up with unusual clarity. I knew exactly what I had to do. First, I called my company to take a personal day. Then I contacted our landlord. The lease is only in my name. When we moved in together, she had credit issues, so all the paperwork is just under my name. I explained the situation. He was understanding. These things happen, son, he said. Let me know what you decide to do about the lease. Next, I contacted all the utility companies and internet provider, everything was in my name, and arranged to have all services disconnected that same day. Around noon, I went to the bank and separated our finances. Luckily we didn't have joint accounts, but I removed her as an authorized user on my credit card. I spent the afternoon in a coffee shop, ignoring the flood of calls and texts from her. Around 4 p.m., I briefly turned on my phone and saw 17 missed calls, 36 text messages, and 9 voicemails. I didn't bother checking any of them. Instead, I texted my friend asking if I could crash at his place for a few more days. The couch is ready and waiting, he replied. At 6 p.m., I went back to the apartment, knowing she'd be at her usual Thursday yoga class. I packed my essential stuff and was out in half an hour. I left my key on the kitchen counter with a note. Lease terminated. Utilities canceled. Good luck. I was walking out of the building when I saw her car pulling into the parking garage. For a brief moment, our eyes met. The look on her face, that confusion that quickly turned to panic, almost made me reconsider. Almost. When I woke up today, I found 43 emails from her, ranging from angry to desperate to pleading. Apparently, she tried to take a shower but there was no water. She tried to stream something but the internet was cut off. She tried to order food delivery but the payment was declined because she'd actually been using my credit card this whole time. Her latest message, sent at 2:37 a.m., just said, "Please call me. I'm sorry about everything. We need to talk." I haven't responded to anything yet. Part of me is still processing how quickly I dismantled the life we'd built together. The other part is waiting to feel something, pain, anger, sadness. But all I feel is this huge emptiness. Edit. Holy cow, this blew up overnight. Thank you so much for all the support. To answer the most common questions. Yes, I saved screenshots of everything. No, I'm not planning to reconcile. Yes, I'm doing okay. Strangely okay, actually. I'll share updates as they come. Update 1. It's been a week and her situation is falling apart faster than I expected. First, thank you all for the support on my last post. Your messages helped me realize my reaction wasn't over the top. 7 days since I left and quite a bit has happened. I'm still staying with my friend, though I've started looking for my own place. Work is going well. My supervisor told me to take all the time I need. Turns out his ex cheated on him too, so he gets it. As for my ex, the fallout has been significant. Remember how I mentioned the lease had 30 days? Well, I wasn't completely honest in my original post. I didn't just talk to the landlord. I actually gave notice to terminate the lease early. Our agreement had an early termination clause for 1 month's additional rent, which I paid immediately. The landlord gave her 30 days to either sign a new lease or move out. She found out when the landlord left a notice on the door. According to her messages, she went to the rental office in tears, but discovered her credit score and income weren't enough to qualify for the apartment on her own. The utilities weren't just turned off temporarily, they were cancelled completely. New accounts would require deposits and setup fees, which she's apparently unable to cover. But here's where it gets really interesting. The guy I caught her with turns out to be her coworker. A married coworker whose wife is pregnant. I found this out because on day 3 of my complete silence, my ex showed up at my office. The receptionist warned me and I had security escort her out, but not before she caused a scene, yelling about how I destroyed her life over one mistake. A coworker filmed the whole thing. When I watched it later, I noticed my ex mentioned the guy's name. A quick social media search confirmed it. Married, baby on the way, works at the same company as my ex. I sat on this information for 24 hours before deciding what to do. I'm still not sure if it was the right thing. I found his wife on social media and sent her a message with just the facts, the date and time I found them, and my ex's name. No drama, just information. The wife responded within hours. She'd had suspicions but no proof. She was devastated but grateful. She asked if I had evidence, and I shared screenshots of my ex's emails where she admitted the affair had been going on for months, not just once like she claimed. My ex called me 19 times in 2 hours. When I finally answered, she was hysterical. How could you contact his wife? Do you understand what you've done? I stayed calm. I just told her the truth. He's being transferred to another branch. I was being considered for his position, but now HR has us both under investigation. I could lose my job, she screamed. Does this make you happy? Is this what you wanted? I didn't want any of this, I replied. You made these choices. That's when she completely broke down, crying about how sorry she was, how she'd do anything to turn back time. I can't afford this place alone, she sobbed. My family won't help me. I have nowhere to go. That's your problem to solve, I said and hung up. This morning, I got an email with the subject line, "What I need you to do." It was just a list of demands. First, she wants me to come back to the apartment and cover rent while she finds another place. Second, she wants me to turn all the utilities back on. Third, she demands I give her access to my credit card again. Fourth, she insists I contact the guy's wife and tell her it was all a misunderstanding. Fifth, she wants me to talk to her supervisor and explain that she just made one mistake. I haven't responded. I'm not going to. My friend thinks I'm being too cold, that I should at least help her find another place to live. Maybe he's right, but every time I consider it, I remember her smile when she said, "Besides, he satisfies me way more than you do." Some wounds are too deep for compassion. Edit. Wow, thank you all for the support. To clarify a few things, no, I'm not helping her financially or in any other way. Yes, I have all the documentation saved. No, I don't feel guilty about telling the guy's wife. Update 2. I got my own place while she's dealing with the consequences of her choices. It's been about 2 weeks since my last post, and things have settled into a strange new normal. Starting with the good news, I found my own apartment. It's smaller than our old place, but it's in a better location, closer to work, and has a balcony where I enjoy my morning coffee. I moved in last weekend with help from my friend and a few other guys. Now, regarding the drama with my ex, quite a bit has happened. The day after I ignored her demands, she sent me a novel-length email with a different approach. Suddenly, it wasn't just her fault, I was to blame too. According to her, I worked too much, didn't appreciate her enough, didn't understand her emotional needs. The classic blame shifting. I didn't respond to that either. 2 days later, her sister contacted me. We'd always gotten along, so I took the call. She started by saying she wasn't taking sides, but then explained how my ex was struggling and asked if I could help with rent. I understand she made a serious mistake, her sister said, but don't you think cutting off all financial support is excessive? What financial support? I asked. We split expenses. The only difference now is she has to pay for her own stuff instead of using my card. Her sister went quiet. She told me you've been supporting her financially for years because her job doesn't pay well. I actually laughed. We split rent 50-50. She makes about $5,000 less than me per year. The only thing I paid for completely was the internet. Oh, her sister sounded confused. That doesn't match what she told the family. We talked more and I discovered my ex had painted herself as financially dependent on me for years. She'd even told them the apartment was too expensive for her, but that I insisted on the fancy place, when actually she was the one who wanted the luxury apartment with all the amenities. Later, her sister texted, "Sorry to bother you. I need to have a conversation with my sister." A few days later, the real bomb dropped. Remember the married coworker? His pregnant wife didn't just confront him, she went nuclear. She contacted HR at their company with evidence of the affair, including the screenshots I'd shared with her. The company has strict policies against relationships between supervisors and subordinates, which they'd violated. Plus, they'd been using company time for their meetings, booking conference rooms for meetings that were anything but professional. Both of them were suspended with pay pending investigation. I found out because my ex showed up at my new apartment Monday night. I still don't know how she got my address. She was drunk, makeup running, pounding on my door at 11 p.m. "You destroyed my life," she was screaming. "I'm suspended from work, they'll probably fire me, and I have to be out of the apartment in 2 weeks." My neighbor came out to see what the commotion was. "You need to leave," I told her calmly. "You owe me this," she yelled, trying to push past me into my apartment. "After 4 years, you at least owe me a place to stay." "I don't owe you anything," I said, "especially after what you did." "It was just once," she insisted, then immediately contradicted herself. "Okay, it was a few times, but it didn't mean anything." I pulled out my phone and started dialing. She tried to grab it from me, but I stepped back and she stumbled. "Go home, sober up, and figure out your situation. I'm not your solution anymore." She completely deflated, all the fight went out of her. "I have nowhere to go," she whispered. "That's not my problem," I replied and closed the door. Her sister texted me the next morning, "Sorry about last night. She came to my place after leaving yours. She's staying here for now." My response was brief, "Thanks for letting me know." It's been 3 days since then. Radio silence. I ran into a mutual acquaintance yesterday who filled me in on the work situation. My ex was officially fired, same fate for her married coworker. The pregnant wife is proceeding with divorce proceedings, specifically naming my ex in the paperwork. I guess the appropriate feeling would be vindication. Her current reality, unemployed, homeless, professional reputation destroyed. But mostly what I feel is tired. Tired of processing it all, tired of the constant drama. I'm focusing my energy on making this new place feel like home. I bought some plants yesterday, something I'd wanted to do before, but she always said they required too much maintenance. Small steps in rebuilding. Life goes on. Edit. For those asking if I feel bad about how things turned out for her, no. I never orchestrated the destruction of her life. I just chose to remove myself from it. Final update. It's been about 2 months since everything imploded, and I think it's time for one last update. A lot has changed, mostly for the better. The career front brought good news. I got promoted at work. It comes with a significant raise and expanded responsibilities. The challenge is exciting. Management said they were impressed by my ability to maintain productivity despite the personal turmoil. This place finally feels like home. Those plants I mentioned are thriving. Funny thing, only one died. I set up a home office and got back into actually cooking, no more relying on delivery apps. Regarding my ex, after 3 weeks of silence, I got an unexpected email. The subject line simply said, "Closure." I was tempted to delete it without reading, but curiosity won. The content surprised me. No blame, no demands. It was actually an acknowledgement of her mistakes. She wrote about starting therapy after hitting rock bottom, facing some ugly truths about herself. She admitted to lying to her family about our finances, being manipulative, and taking my presence for granted. One part really stuck with me. My betrayal went beyond physical cheating. Every selfish choice, every lie, every time I mistook your consistency for weakness was another betrayal. She ended by saying she didn't expect forgiveness or any response. I thought about that email for days before writing back. I appreciate the acknowledgement. I hope you find peace in your journey. It felt like the closure we both needed. No communication since. Through mutual friends, I hear bits and pieces. She's still staying with her sister, looking for work in another state. The married guy's situation didn't work out either. The divorce is proceeding. A baby was born last week. As for me, I've started dating again. Nothing serious, just getting back out there. I met someone interesting at a party last weekend. We talked for hours and have dinner planned for tomorrow. I'm nervous but optimistic. Sometimes memories surface, triggered by a shared reference or a place we used to go together, but the emotional intensity has faded significantly. That sharp pain has become a dull ache, and even that's fading. Someone in the comments once said love's opposite isn't hate, it's indifference. I think I'm getting there. Thank you to everyone who followed this journey. Writing these posts helped me process everything, and your responses kept me sane when I questioned my own judgment. Life continues, and honestly, the view ahead looks pretty good. P.S. To answer the common questions, yes, I'm doing well. The dinner date exceeded expectations. No, I don't miss what we had. To those who think I was too harsh, I stand by my decisions. Sometimes, a clean break is the most compassionate thing you can do.